Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids, Rhodians, and all you Kiadi-Mundi-looking conehead people, and whatever might be in between that spectrum. Welcome to your May 2020 all characters ranked from best to worst in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support on the last time we did this video, January 2020, with over 175,000 views and over 5,000 likes. By far one of my most popular video series. Leave a like Gary's saying right now. He doesn't look too happy. Better drop that like, Curry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What has changed since January 2020? Because as you guys know, I don't make this video on a monthly basis because not too much changes from month to month, but over a span of 3-4 months, a lot changes. And since January 2020, last time I did this video, we had the addition of Resistance Hero Poe. We have obviously Galactic Legends Rey and Kylo, which have made a huge impact on the game. Some worse, some good, as we're going to talk about. A lot of characters shooting up in viability. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the Mando characters, because those characters have been added and have added a nice little flavor to this list. And keep your eyes peeled for those characters. I'm sure the next time we do this video, Mando characters might see an increase in viability then. So let's pull up the Youngling category and start breaking down these characters. This guide is not going to take into consideration the raids and ships, because some characters are much better in raids, some characters are going to be making better ships. So we're solely focusing on PvP viability, that being Territory Wars, Grand Arena, as well as Squad Arena. But of course, we have other guys. Secondly, to point out, you're going to see some +1s, +2s, +3s next to characters. As you know, this list is talking about sole character viability, standalone viability, but some characters get better when they're put in certain compositions. So you're going to see some +1s, +2s, +3s, and what that means is that character can bump up so many tiers depending on if they're in the right lineup. So with that clarification, we got the Younglings. Nothing too exciting here. These are characters that aren't going to have a lot of standalone viability. Basically, none at all. Some of them might get a little bit better if you're popping them in certain lineups, like our boy Chewbacca, Destroyer of Worlds, Clone Wars Chewbacca. Not the most amazing character by himself, but when you put him in some lineups like Padme, Amidala, you can definitely get some more viability out of that character. Nothing too drastically different in this Youngling category since the first time we did it, but some characters have migrated out of the Younglings into the higher categories. You might be noticing Veteran Smuggler Han and Veteran Smuggler Chewbacca no longer in the Younglings because they got a slight rework, so they're going to be up in the higher tiers of this list here. Overall, don't expect too much out of these characters here. Of course, Jawas, Stormtrooper, Clone Wars Chewbacca, you can find some little pieces to use them in. Clone Sergeant, not an amazing character, but when you put him with Shakti, he turns out to be a more decent character. But let's move on to the more interesting stuff now. We talk about the Padawans. Now again, you're not going to notice too much of a significant change in the Padawan and Youngling category since the last time I did this video, but you are going to notice I'm starting to increase the modifiers, the +1, +2 stats on some of these characters because of Galactic Legends Kylo and Galactic Legends Rey. And the first character I kind of want to point out to give an example right here is going to be First Order Officer. Now, standalone, the reason why he's in the Padawan category, he's got some tools that might be mildly useful in any type of lineup, such as his turn meter gains. But when you start throwing him in the right lineups, a normal First Order lineup with, let's say, Kylo Ren on Mass, or the reason now he has a +2 modifier on it, before he just had +1, +2 comes from Supreme Leader Kylo, because a lot of great Kylo Ren lineups rely on just giving him as many bonus turns as possible. And luckily, First Order Officer, he can feed a turn to Supreme Leader Kylo. Hux can feed a turn to Supreme Leader Kylo. Thrawn can feed a turn to Supreme Leader Kylo. First Order Officer, fantastic in that regard. Outside the First Order lineup, probably not going to see too much out of this character. To kind of explain the Padawan space a little bit more, B1 and Night Sister Zombie. Now, they're ranked pretty low. And if you don't understand the modifiers, you won't understand what this graph is talking about. By themselves, Night Sister Zombie, B1, you're not going to find too much uses out of their respective factions, but put B1 in a Separatist lineup, whether Newt Gunray, Count Dooku, General Grievous, Night Sister Zombie with at least one Night Sister, all of a sudden their viability drastically jumps up. 2 steps up for B1 Battle Droid, 2 steps up for Night Sister Zombie. That puts them inside of the Master categories. And Aura Singh's the last one I'm going to point out here. By herself, not a fantastic bounty hunter. In my opinion, probably the least viable bounty hunter out of the bunch that we have here. But luckily, especially with Mando, her leadership is definitely great for trying to get that contract to be triggered. And as we're going to talk about with Mando in a moment here, get off the Disintegrate as fast as possible. Let's talk about the Night category. And here, we're going to see our Mando characters. All 3 of them here. We'll see some modifiers on some of them, as well as some +1s, as well as some reductions from higher tiers. Huge modifier upgrades with some of these Night characters. Last time I made this list, we had Finn and Hux in the game, and they were just solid characters, but they weren't blowing our minds away. Well, eventually, Resistance Hero Poe came into the mix and allowed Finn and Resistance Hero Poe and Jedi Training Rey take out Darth Revan teams. And also, Hux, once Galactic Legends Kylo came into the mix, Hux is an extremely important character, probably cornerstone for a lot of the top-end First Order teams. And same thing, Resistance Hero, Finn, and Poe, they are the main engines driving the Rey team. The most difficult defensive team in the game to beat is Rey, Poe, and Resistance Hero Finn. So as you see, we're adding +2 modifiers to things like Hux, Resistance Hero Poe, and Resistance Hero Finn. Those did not exist back then because the meta changed, but as we called out last time, keep your eyes peeled for characters like Finn, because I was almost certain, due to the resistance synergies as well as the inspiration mechanics, those characters are going to jump up a lot, and that is indeed the case. But by themselves, you're not going to really see Poe and Finn be an all-around standalone character, which is why by themselves, we ranked them in the Knight category, put them in the right lineup. They're getting bumped up at least 2. Let's talk about the Mandalorian characters. And every time I give a list, I always say, keep your eyes peeled for XYZ characters. And we've seen those characters progress more since January. Now your target's going to be pay close attention to Mando, Greef, and Cara. They're all right characters right now. I think there's a bigger future. I think we're waiting for some more stuff to get added to the game, more Mando characters to make their team come to life. But right now, by themselves, excluding the teams, I think they're just solid Knight characters. You really want to have Mando and Greef inside of a bounty hunter lineup. So that's why they give a +1, because Mando and Greef in the right type of bounty hunter lineups can take down a lot of great teams. And I've already said it, I think bounty hunters with Mando and Greef form probably the lower end of the top 10 teams in Galaxy of Heroes, and that's only going to increase when we get probably some more light side bounty hunters and or some other characters supporting the Mandalorian TV show. Only character I have not been to the moon about is Cara Dune. We did not add any sort of +1 modifier to her. I think just in general, in the right lineup by herself, she just kind of seems to be an all right middle of the run character in the game. Now the master category. These are definitely some of the better standalone characters in the game that you can use for a variety of things and just by themselves. Some of them are just so dang good and core engine components to a lot of our top tier teams in the game. Biggest changes that we're noting here, we took characters like General Grievous and Grandmaster Yoda from Grandmaster status. Of course, they still got that +1 modifier. Padme kind of suffered the same fate as Grievous due to how the meta shifting. Things like Grievous and Padme getting pushed out of the meta, but Padme still, by herself, like Grievous, is a very solid character. The cleansing, the protection for all light side allies, it's always great, but of course you can get better. If you throw in a full Galactic Republic team, you're gonna be golden. Larry, the Sith Trooper, before he was just sold as a master, he was a great plug and play character for Sith and First Order characters. Now he gets the +1, the +1 mainly attributed to Galactic Legends Kylo and the Sith Trooper. Sith Trooper is an incredibly important component to try to juice up Kylo Ren's ultimate ability as fast as possible. And he is a deadly, high-hitting monster machine. Actually, one of my favorite characters in the game right now, I gotta say. I want to talk about both of the Basilisk Shans, Fallen as well as the Jedi variant. These characters are just so important. All of our counters to Galactic Legends, more or less, we rely on an ability block, stopping Kylo and Rey from using Sudden Whirlwind, or using Stasis Strike, or stunning the living daylights out of your team. These characters are incredibly important. They have the +1 modifier because I believe they can be Grandmaster status if thrown into a Jedi team for Basilisk Shan, and of course, Darth Revan with Basilisk Shan Fallen. These are cornerstone characters, incredibly important. Basilisk Shan's lead herself is helping Jedi counter, for example, Supreme Leader Kyle, so don't neglect those characters whatsoever. Two characters that made a huge jump on the list, Barriss and L337. Now, L337 was probably the character people started gearing up as fast as possible. Once Rey was starting to be seen, we saw her viability. L3 just jumped into the mix and became a rising star. Before we had her in the Knight category, she was just an all-right standalone plug-and-play tank that you can use. Wasn't blowing people's minds away. It was a solid tank for some scoundrels and bounty hunter teams out there. But now with the addition of Rey, this character is more annoying than ever. And then Barriss. Barriss is kind of suffered the same fate as L337 in a good way. It became so important, that unique ability. It all really comes down to that Zeta. Of course, this list assumes this is the end game viability of a character, and with that Barriss Zeta, being able to recover health on a critical hit, well, especially Rey teams that get so much health bonuses. One of the counters, as we're going to briefly mention in a second here, Jedi, General Anakin Skywalker countering Galactic Legends Rey. Well, if you throw Barriss in that lineup, it becomes a lot harder killing off a Rey team. Now, lastly, we talk about the Grandmaster category. And as you're going to notice, it's looking a little bit thinner than it used to be before. And where's our Galactic Legends, Rey and Kylo? Bam! Right here. They don't deserve to be in a Grandmaster status. These characters are indeed Galactic Legends in the game. I just felt like Grandmaster could not summarize Kylo Ren and Rey enough. Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, their standalone viability is incredibly important. Jedi Knight Revan's ability to help you get around a taunt and mark someone, that's useful in a lot of different lines. I see him used outside of Jedi just to help the team get away from a taunting character like L337. Darth Revan, important. I see him being used in Kylo Ren lineups. You just use in any lineup that needs to get a fear on the team. That fear mechanic is the reason why Darth Revan is a standalone Grandmaster category characters. And of course, both Revans are amazing in their Sith Empire Jedi faction. General Anakin Skywalker, Grandmaster as well. Of course, the 501st getting a little bit of a beating by the Galactic Legends, but still such a staple team. Third best team in Galaxy Heroes, but in terms of standalone viability, people are using gas in Supreme Leader Kyle lineups. People are using gas inside of Rey lineups. And of course, 501st, Galactic Republic. He's got so much viability with all those extra attacks he takes. The cooldown increase is probably the biggest component to him. And of course, the armor shred, the dazes. His kit really has it all. I know Galactic Legends Rey and Kyle takes the show, but Anakin, he's got quite a lot to offer as well. Malik, I don't need to talk too much about him. He is a great plug and play character, stops the bonus Terminator against Sith. He's used in Rey lineups in case people are worried that people are going to use a lot of AoEs and critical hits and bonus Terminator from Sith. Well, Darth Malik shuts that down. Kenobi, Thrawn, as well as Watt, arguably the biggest three plug and play characters you can put into the game. Kenobi works in any type of lineup. Of course, he is excelling inside of a Rey lineup, but you see him in Jedi lineups. You see him in Padme lineups. So many places to use him. Thrawn, he is the counter meta by himself. He just shuts down so many metas. Almost every meta that comes and goes, he plays a crucial role. That fracture Terminator swapping gives you a way to kind of control the enemy field a little bit better. And Wat Tambor, probably the biggest theory crafter plug and play character. You can put him in any lineup, and whatever tech you give out, you're gonna just open up some viability and tools and tricks that those teams never experienced in the past. That's your Grandmaster category, but Galactic Legends, Rey and Kylo, I don't think we did talk about it too much. Already kind of hit the nail on the head. For better or worse, coming in the Galaxy Heroes, they changed the meta. A lot of characters seeing increases in huge amounts of viability. L337, Barris, Hux, Resistance Hero, Poe, Finn, Holdo, a lot of other little things in between here, but also helped you have more emphasis on other characters that are important for the counter meta. If you're looking for the better defensive PvP team, Rey's gonna be your girl. If you're looking for the raw, untamed offensive power for PvE and for offensive type of PvP gameplay, Kylo's gonna be your boy. They both offer different tools depending on what you're looking for. And ladies and gentlemen, with that said, that is your May 2020 all characters ranked from best to worst in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We'll put up this full graphic right now. Take a screenshot if you want to have a copy for yourself. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and you can kind of see how Galactic Legends kind of mixed things up a little bit. We didn't really get that many new characters since the last time I made this video, but these two big characters, Galactic Legends Rey and Kylo, could just completely mix up the meta, made some characters drop in viability, increase some viability. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. Always great to have you on the channel and sharing my love of Star Wars and Galaxy of Heroes with you. Leave a like, comment down below. What characters would you maybe rank differently? I feel like for the most part, we hit the nail on the head. But of course, you know, I always read comments, and if there's a publicly agreed upon thing that needs to be changed for this list, next time I make this list, I incorporate that feedback as always. And of course, Gary, tell them to subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And I'll see all you lovely people in the next video. Peace out, everybody.